good evening, and welcome to Sky Tonight. The moon is in the waxing gibbous phase tonight, with 93% illumination. Look for it in the eastern sky after sunset. Viewers are invited to enable captions in their preferred language to see local observing cities and their current times. Join us for a guided tour of tonight's entire sky, highlighting the most notable celestial sights visible from your location. As twilight fades, Venus gleams halfway up the southern sky, Vega shines almost straight overhead, and Saturn glows near the eastern horizon. Later in the night, we'll visit Albireo, Altair, and the Dumbbell Nebula high in the southern sky, with meteors streaking from the Alpha Capricornids, while Deneb stays almost straight overhead. The Iris Nebula glows in the north, and Mars rises near the east. Toward morning, the southern Delta Aquariids add more meteors. Mercury appears near the eastern horizon, the Andromeda Galaxy soars almost straight overhead, and Difta shines high in the south. And just before we wrap up, keep your eyes peeled for satellite crossings in the moonlight. Venus is the dazzling silver-white point halfway up the southern sky tonight. It's the second brightest object in the sky after the moon, and impossible to miss. Look for its steady glow in the southern sky as twilight fades. The planet climbs highest in Los Angeles at 8:25 in the evening, then the best moment moves to New York at 8:50 in the evening, and on to London at 9:40 in the evening. Venus is the brightest natural object in the night sky after the moon, so dazzling that it can cast faint shadows in truly dark places and is the single most common source of UFO reports. Vega shines almost straight overhead tonight, lighting up the summer sky. As the brightest star in Lyra and part of the famous Summer Triangle, it's easy to spot even from light-polluted areas. Around 11:15 in the evening, this star peaks in Los Angeles, New York, and London, while remaining above the horizon all night in London, where it culminates at that time. The name Vega derives from an Arabic expression describing a swooping or diving eagle. It refers to the way the ancient Arabs perceived the pattern of stars in the constellation Lyra. Saturn rises low near the eastern horizon tonight. Look for its steady golden glow as it climbs into view. This ringed giant is best seen later in the night when it's higher in the sky. The planet rises around 11:20 in the evening in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Saturn's mass is about 95 times that of Earth, but its enormous volume makes it only 125 times more massive overall, a consequence of its gaseous composition and low density. Albireo sits high in the southern sky as the foot of the Northern Cross in Cygnus. This golden yellow star is a beautiful double star system, with a blue companion visible through a small telescope. This star reaches its highest point around 12:10 after midnight in Los Angeles, New York, and London. In its original Arabic, the star was called the Hen's Beak, and Albireo still marks the beak of Cygnus, the celestial swan. Altair is high in the southern sky tonight, forming the low corner of the Summer Triangle. This white star spins so fast it's flattened at the poles, and it's flanked by two fainter stars that make it easy to identify. This star peaks around 12:30 after midnight for Los Angeles, New York, and London. Altair, like Vega and Achernar, is a star that rotates exceptionally fast around its own axis. This causes its noticeable flattening at the poles and produces the phenomenon of gravity darkening at the equator relative to the poles. The Dumbbell Nebula floats high in the southern sky, glowing with a greenish tint. To find it, look just north of the arrow shape of Sagitta. You'll need a telescope to see this planetary nebula clearly. The nebula is highest around 12:40 after midnight in Los Angeles, New York, and London. The gas shells of the Dumbbell Nebula are expanding outward at roughly 31 kilometers per second, and their age is estimated at several thousand years. Alpha Capricornids meteors streak from a point halfway up the southern sky tonight. This shower is active now and building to its peak on July 30, offering about 1 meteor per hour. The radiant reaches its best position around 1:05 in the morning in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Deneb shines almost straight overhead as the top of the Northern Cross in Cygnus. This blue-white supergiant marks one corner of the Summer Triangle and is one of the most distant stars visible to the naked eye. This star peaks around 1:20 in the morning in Los Angeles, New York, and London, with London seeing it above the horizon all night and highest at that time. The region of the sky around Deneb and Cygnus is one of the richest areas of the Milky Way visible from Earth. It includes numerous emission nebulae and regions of active new star formation. The Iris Nebula is high in the northern sky tonight. This deep sky object has a bright blue core and dark dust lanes that show up best in photographs. Look between Cepheus and the North Celestial Pole. The nebula remains above the horizon all night in Los Angeles, New York, and London, peaking around 1:40 in the morning. Mars rises low near the eastern horizon tonight. Look for its distinct orange-red glow as it climbs into view. It's best seen later in the night when it's higher in the sky. The planet rises in Los Angeles at 2:39 in the morning, then in New York at 2:23 in the morning, and finally in London at 1:45 in the morning. Mars is known as the red planet due to iron oxide, rust, on its surface, which gives it a distinctive rusty red appearance, visible even to the naked eye from Earth. Phobos makes its first crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 54 minutes. This transit will not be visible from Los Angeles because it occurs in daylight or twilight, and from New York and London because Mars will be below the horizon. Phobos makes the next crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 54 minutes. This transit will be visible from New York between 3:01 in the morning and 3:55 in the morning. It will not be visible from Los Angeles because Mars will be below the horizon, and from London because it occurs in daylight or twilight. Southern Delta Aquariids meteor streak from a point halfway up the southern sky tonight. This shower is active now and building to its peak on July 30, offering about 7 meteors per hour. The radiant peaks around 3:20 in the morning in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Mercury rises low near the eastern horizon tonight. Look for it as it climbs into view. It's best seen once the sky darkens fully, and it will be more visible in areas where the eastern horizon is clear. Watch in Los Angeles first at 4:47 in the morning. By 4:36 in the morning, it is New York's turn, and London closes the night at 4:07 in the morning. Mercury is locked in a 3-2 spin-orbit resonance, spinning exactly 3 times for every 2 trips around the Sun, so a single solar day there lasts about 176 Earth days, longer than its 88-day year. The Andromeda Galaxy shines almost straight overhead tonight. To find it, start at the Great Square of Pegasus and follow 2 guide stars to this faint, oval smudge of light. Around 5:15 in the morning, this galaxy peaks in Los Angeles and New York, while London sees it above the horizon all night and highest at 4:30 in the morning. At the core of Andromeda lies a supermassive black hole estimated to be about 140 million times more massive than our Sun, significantly larger than the Milky Way's central black hole. Difta is high in the southern sky tonight, shining as one of the 50 brightest stars in the night sky. To locate it, follow the eastern side of the Great Square of Pegasus southward. Around 5:15 in the morning, this star peaks in Los Angeles and New York, while London sees it highest at 4:30 in the morning. Difta moves relative to the Sun with a radial velocity of about 12.9 kilometers per second, which astronomers use, among other things, to precisely study its proper motion and membership in particular star populations in the vicinity of the solar system. Perseids meteor streak from a point high in the northern sky tonight. This famous shower is active now and building to its peak on August 12, offering about 6 meteors per hour. The earliest view belongs to Los Angeles at 5:25 in the morning. London waits until 4:30 in the morning, with New York in between at 5:10 in the morning, all while remaining above the horizon all night. The Hubble Space Telescope makes the first crossing of the night. For observers standing on the narrow ground path, the satellite's silhouette crosses the moon's disk for just about 1 second. The ground path begins near Sabzivar at 7:20 in the evening and ends over the open Pacific at 1:10 in the morning. 28 satellite crossings of the moon were visible from land tonight, and the 6 shown here are the ones whose ground tracks run closest to towns and cities. The Hubble Space Telescope makes the second crossing of the night. This satellite crosses again, with its ground path beginning near Kila Kabira at 7:58 in the evening and ending near Wanning at 3:19 in the morning. The Hubble Space Telescope makes the third crossing of the night. This satellite crosses again, with its ground path beginning near Silifke at 8:24 in the evening and ending over the open Pacific at 2:45 in the morning. The Tiangong Space Station makes the fourth crossing of the night. This satellite begins its first pass tonight, with the ground path starting northeast of Dakhla at 9:12 in the evening and ending north of Moanda at 9:21 in the evening. The Hubble Space Telescope makes the fifth crossing of the night. This satellite crosses again, with its ground path beginning over the open Atlantic at 9:32 in the evening and ending over the open Indian Ocean at 2:24 in the morning. The International Space Station makes the sixth and final crossing of the night. This satellite begins its first pass tonight, with the ground path starting near AIXN Province at 9:43 in the evening and ending near Kismayo at 10:55 in the evening. A total solar eclipse is coming soon. Follow for details. Come back tomorrow night for another look at the sky, and good observing in the meantime.